Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer from 1997. No.
Hello, humans. Welcome to Ask a Robo Engineer. I am Robo Engineer Lady Ada.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Lady Ada, who is
Yeah.
not a robot. He is a meat being,
Yeah.
a meat who does engineering. How unusual. How does meat think?
No, I know.
No, I don't know. Okay. No,
All
just
right.
kidding. Also meat.
Yeah.
It's two meat-made engineers. We're here. We're talking science, engineering,
Yeah,
electronics. We got a fun show for you tonight.
that's right.
I might make Phil wear the Glasstron.
Yeah,
it's his.
not again.
This is his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're broadcasting from Adafruit. We got all sorts of stuff going on. We do
That's right.
shipping, boxing, electronics in, soldering. Tell me
Where you
what's
like
on tonight's show.
All right, on tonight's show, the code is wires because we have a lot of wires we're going to talk
Oh,
about
yeah?
tonight. Yeah, tons.
Wire specialty.
We'll go over the show and tell all the amazing people, places, and projects that were on tonight's show and tell. Pack the mailbags in and stop by. We'll talk about the Adafruit learning system. A little bit of time traveling back in the world of making, hacking, art, science, and more. Wearable electronics. All the things that are fit to wear. 3D printing. All the things that are fit to print. Some Pi news. We'll have quite a bit of new products. We'll answer your questions.
Most of them are wires, though.
We'll have a trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, you're still here. Ask an Engineer.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wire party, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's they're good wires.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
I don't want to carry like every kind of wire. I only want to carry the good wires.
Yeah. So first up, the discount code expires tonight at 11:59 p.m. It is wires. This gives you discounts on everything in the Adafruit store except for EagleCAD and gift certificates. And a little reminder, we still take Bitcoin. We still got this going on. And
Unusual that
what?
meat bags have science, money. I don't know. That's what
Yeah.
It's like robo-dollars. They should
Yeah.
just call Bitcoin robo-dollars.
Robo-dollars?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what it is, right?
Machine bucks.
Machine bucks. Yeah.
So we did switch up our free item. So here's the deal. If you
Updated.
spend $99 or more, you get a free half-size Perma Proto, and 200 or more free UPS ground in the continental USA.
That's right.
So we're still doing that.
People were like, we have 8 rulers. We're tired of these rulers.
Yeah.
People like the rulers, but then like you can have too many rulers. Whereas the Perma Protos, what I think about Perma Protos is you can never have too many.
Yeah. So we got that going on.
And it's more exciting than just giving away like a bucket of headers. I was gonna give like headers, and people were like, that's too boring.
Here you go, kid. Some pogo pins. Next
Gosh,
up.
we have exciting pogo pins as a new product.
Yeah, next up we have our show and tell. We do this every single week, 7:30 p.m. For half an hour. People around the world show their projects that they've made, and they come on Google plus Hangouts, and they show a lot of cool stuff. We have people from Team Adafruit who also show things, and then we have people who show projects. And every week I'm always surprised about how amazing and cool the projects are.
I'll get
So
to these fast.
who is on the show?
Noah and Pedro from Adafruit Southeast came by, and they're talking about tomorrow's video, which is going to be about, next week's video, which is about recycling 3D prints, and they're using like some DIY extrusion melter. Like you take failed prints and you can melt down the plastic and recycle it into new filament, and they'll actually show even whether that works or not, which is going to be interesting. And then they also showed off tomorrow's 3D Thursday project, which is a 3D printed Raspberry Pi Model B case. And they're also talking about the show they're going to be tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow is Thursday, 3 p.m. is a 3D hangout with Noah, Pedro, and Matt. So tune in. I do. Tony DeCola from Adafruit Northwest came by. He's been working on adding support for port expanders to the Retrocade, Phil B's lovely GPIO press to keyboard input converter, which will be part of the future arcade hat. Thanks, Tony. Lex is a new person who came by and has been learning electronics, is a metal worker by trade, but made a really lovely EL jacket with that sound reactive, so it's good for parties, and also an LED old style lantern, which looks really, really cool. And was hopefully going to be adding electronics to some sort of pig head thing, which I don't completely understand, but it looked cool and scary.
Yeah.
Lewis came by. He's been hacking on his bicycle. He added 2 LED NeoPixel rings to his bicycle and then a couple buttons so he can use them as turn signals So as he presses the buttons, the LEDs light up as like really nice big turn signals. It was a good improvement on a bicycle. Bao Bao fixed her Linux kernel problems with the drivers and came back today to show off her Sonic Pi I Ching song. So she used the I Ching to generate songs in Sonic Pi and played us a tune, and it was kind of cool and kind of creepy. Thanks, Bao Bao. Roberto got a printer bought Simple Metal and has been debugging and testing and talking about the process by which he's been debugging and testing his prints. He's making a BMO and he's actually almost done with it, so it looks good. He figured it out after some tweaking. And also is working on a Pi-powered Java-controlled robot rover for maybe next week. And then finally, C. Scott came by showing off his CX80, Yamaha TS80 synthesizer, I think was the name of it. He found a great enclosure for $5. It's a rack mount. It's like this really sweet enclosure with like MIDI ports in the front even. It's just really, I love Swap Fest. I wish we had a Swap Fest here. Oh, which one? Oh no, this came off. Sorry.
Yeah. A little bit of a show thing. I think you put put your microphone on.
Oh no,
jacket.
usually I put it on my,
Yeah.
I didn't notice. Sorry. And then, and that's how we destroyed the universe.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. All right.
Just watch the show and tell. It was
How
great.
do they get on the show and tell?
Getting on the show and tell is great. Go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and look for the thread where we say comment here to get added to the show and tell circle. Comment and we will add you, and then you can join Noah, Pedro, Tony, Lex, Louis, Bao Bao, Roberto, and C. Scott, as well as their other 300 friends, and show off your project next week or any other week, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m.
Okay. All right. Next up, Pack the Mailbag. Packet stops by every single week and reads your emails to us. So this is from Tyler. I'm really grateful for all the products and tutorials. I am a student studying engineering. I love working on many projects, learning from the many posts. I bought my Raspberry Pi from y'all and my life changed forever. Haha, that's even my wife's favorite device in the house. Thank you for all the time you spend teaching, working, and helping. It wasn't until after finding Adafruit Industries that I knew where my career and life would go. This has brought me happiness and purpose. I try to help others to find Adafruit too. One of my professors who teaches Linux and C++ in a hybrid class might be changing his curriculum and the entire class to use Raspberry Pi instead of a bootable USB. I used a Pi in my class as a final project. He spent the next 2 hours asking me about Adafruit products and tutorials, especially the ones that I thought would help him set up the Pi the fastest. I referred him to the online store and the Adafruit learning site. Thanks sincerely, Tyler.
Wow.
That's good.
Epic. Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
There's more tutorials than ever. What I like is today I was actually looking like Tessel has a learning site. And like every single, if you have an electronics company, you now have to have a tutorial and educational site. You can't just put stuff up online anymore. You have to release hardware and ship it. You actually have to do tutorials and documentation and like a website and like a microsite and like embedded videos. So it's pretty epic.
All right. Some news in the world of, I'd say maker world, I don't know.
Yeah.
Electric Imp today announced $15 million in funding.
Yep.
So far they had 8, and now this is 15.
Yeah.
Now, this to me, seems like an interesting investment for a lot of companies. So they're more the industrial M2M, machine to machine, that's the term that you hear, Internet of Things company. So they'll make a small device that allows you to get your also probably low cost-ish device online and doing stuff. They have a server platform that goes with it. An accurate way to describe?
Yeah, what's interesting is this is it's a wireless module that uses their back-end service. It's one of the first machine-to-machine Wi-Fi modules that's been out there. It's been worked really well. I mean, you have to use their service, which some people may not like. But if you're building a product, it's great because you can depend on them to do all the hosting and management and services and stuff. It's good news. I mean, they're actually getting stuff into products. I definitely see them having an exit where they're purchased by like GE or something similar.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense. 25 million. I mean, that's probably, they have to do manufacturing and they're working with other teams and companies.
And the CEO was part of the team that was at Apple working on the iPhone. and then he worked at Nest.
Yeah.
So like, it's probably going to happen. The question is, it's always fun to guess on who should buy them. Last year, I suggested to a venture capitalist, who I probably shouldn't say anything because who knows what's going on behind the scenes. I said, Sony should buy an Internet of Things company, and I had suggested that they buy Electric Imp, which they probably could have got for a bargain last year. Now it's probably harder.
Now it's a little tougher, but who knows? Maybe Nest will buy them.
Yeah.
I mean, like Google doesn't really do hardware. They're
They
better off acquiring it.
They buy hardware companies. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Adafruit Learning System. We have a lot of tutorials.
Okay.
560 something this week. In the tutorial, this is from today's Wearable Electronics
video,
show. We showed this. This is the June UV sensor. It's a bracelet teardown. So this is, we kind of do this like once a month. We tear down a device that is in the wearable space specifically.
Yeah, if you guys have an idea for a wearable you want to tear down, let us know, because we're running low on wearables to hack.
Real wearables, because there's a lot of renderings and like coming soon.
No, it has to be a physical thing we can tear down.
On The Onion, Becky sent me this one. They have this funny video. They're making fun of the Nike like fuel band, fuel thing, and the new one is going to tell you why you're running. So one of them says like constant shame, father doesn't like it, and it says, and it has all these reasons.
Oh, that's good.
And it tells you.
What are you running from?
What are you running from? So I thought that was kind of neat.
Your past.
Yeah. So next up.
A gigantic dog. I don't know.
So this is this one's you. What is this lady?
This is a tutorial for the Psi 5351 clock gen breakout, which is the breakout that I did this week. This is a really adorable little breakout, and it has a Silicon Labs device, which means I2C totally sucks on it. But we figured it out and we got it running thanks to K-Town's industriousness. And we wrote a tutorial on using and configuring this clock generator to generate any kind of square wave you want.
Okay. Next up, this one just hit the learning system today. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, this is a Rick Winscott little 3D printed project. It uses the self-cycling RGB LEDs. And so you don't need a microcontroller at all for this. And you just 3D print this bracelet that holds the two batteries, and then you have the LEDs poking through, and then you just have these plastic diffuser spikes. It's a fun project. I like that it had no microcontroller. I was like, oh, is there a gem or a trinket? But actually, it's microcontroller-less. It just uses these LEDs that change color on their own.
Okay. This one is on the learning site, but it'll be up on as a video shortly, probably next week. This is a circuit sticker school binder. So the folks who probably a little older remember Trapper Keepers.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of make a comeback once in a while, but like kids do have binders. They go.
How
to
could
school.
you not love this kitten?
Yeah, so it's
Look
a kitten.
Look at this kitten. It's adorable.
But
kitten.
it's using the circuit sticker stuff that we have in the store.
Do you think that kitten's dead by now?
If it's it's probably could be a airbrush painting.
Oh, that's true.
Might not be a dead cat.
I think I remember that cat from like when I was bought a Trapper Keeper.
Yeah. So
kind of morbid. All right, so this is a circuit sticker project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm running from death.
Yeah. And then this one, we have we're gonna figure out the best way to display this. We just got this in today. Phil B, Paint Your Dragon, has one of the most amazing projects that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. We'll see the MA GIF.
Yeah, it's 1500 neopixels. It's a neopixel curtain.
Yeah, we said make a beaded curtain, but with neopixels. And so it's 50 meters of neopixels controlled by 3 fake candies, and has a Raspberry Pi server, and then you use your computer as the client or whatever, whichever way it is, to control what's displayed on the curtain. What's fun is you can see, you can pick it up and move through it, and it's flexible. I mean, there's other projects that are like you make a grid, but I kind of like this because it's a video display, but it's fun and flexible and interactive.
And it uses fake candy. It's really neat.
And it's super intense.
Yeah. Okay.
So much pixels.
Next up, every week we look back in time in the world of making, hacking, science, art, engineering, and more. This one I thought was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
This one is in 1990, Sue, the largest, most complete T-Rex skeleton was found.
I'm having bad luck here.
Yeah, you're just...
I'm falling apart. Okay, now I'm
let's
here.
just make sure you're still on here. You're still okay?
Hello?
Yeah, all right.
Mic is cursed.
You're not getting along with your microphone tonight. So Sue was given is a nickname to the FMNHPR2081, one of the largest, most extensive, and best preserved Tyrannosaurus Rex specimens ever found. It was found by Sue Hendrickson, a paleontologist, and it was named after her.
Okay.
After the ownership disputes were settled, the fossil was auctioned in October 1997 for $1.36 million, the highest amount ever paid for a dinosaur fossil, and now is a permanent feature at the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago,
It's
Illinois.
an amazing
Imagine finding
skeleton.
that. Yeah.
I mean, it's so it's like complete, right? It looks almost complete.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So that's cool that Sue, the paleontologist, found it. It got named after her.
Yeah.
And I guess there must have been some dispute about who owned it or whatever.
Yeah,
and
but
then-
it's called Sue.
Yeah, but it's called Sue. That's neat. All right, so next up. Wearables. Okay, this week, because we have a whole wearable show, I don't have to show all of the same content.
That's
so I
right.
get to pick other things
Okay.
that are in the world of wearables. So make sure you watch Wearable Electronics Becky Stern. It's on YouTube right now, the recorded one from today. But here's the things from this week. Because it's Guardian of the Galaxy week here,
We went and saw it.
we went and saw it, yeah. One of the reasons I like to see kind of comic book movies, because we're doing a lot of cosplay and costuming. And so right away, this is a Star-Lord helmet that
Okay.
someone made. And the only thing missing on the project is like glowing NeoPixel rings, which they
Yeah.
could add.
Yeah.
So that's on the site. And then this is someone made Groot. I am Groot. And very easy costume to make. But
Yeah,
look
you
at the
need a
results.
mask and then
yeah.
and you use like paper mache or what?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They like made some. They used tissue and they like had this glue.
Oh, they
and
did,
then they
they
spray
twisted
painted
it
it.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, okay.
Really cool. Really simple. And then right away, all these people are hacking these little dancing flowers to make
Yeah.
them look like a little baby. Groot.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was funny. So also on the show this week, I'll up my. So you can move over
Yeah,
a little bit
fine.
that way. Amy has an interview with Mac of Strange Like That Cosplay. And she has a lot of different costumes. Here she is as Lady Data. And there's kind of Riker-looking guy. And then steampunk Poison Ivy.
Okay.
So if you're curious about like what types of things you need to consider when making a costume or why or
Yeah.
the thought process, check out this interview. I think we're one of the few sites that have interview with cosplay creators. So Amy is doing a great job with that.
Okay.
So check it out this week. Next up, 3D printing. So a big reminder, this also helps me because going forward, I won't have to have all this 3D printed stuff in the show.
Yeah, because you have 3D.
Because we have an
Thursday
entire,
hangouts.
yeah, so last week was our debut. It was the 3D Thursday Hangout with Matt, Noah, and Pedro, and it was a fantastic first show. These guys are so lucky. There's like all this stuff figured out in HD cameras and like...
They actually just like sit down
They could
and
do
it's
it,
like
yeah.
this is the setup.
Before, when we started Ask an Engineer, 5 years ago, it was like, well, I guess I'll do the shipping while you do the kitting, and we'll answer questions in between orders or
Yeah.
something. So
we had a
that's-
webcam.
We had a webcam. So, anyways, there's a 3D printing show, but we still will play some cool 3D videos and also
Okay.
some content. So this one is from 3D Thursday, and this is the do-it-yourself Oculus Rift. If you're interested in making something like this, but you want to build your own, and you want to 3D print the enclosure,
Yeah.
and then put all the electronics on it and use our sensors, you can. So here's a quick video.
In this project, we're building a wearable HD monitor. This is pretty awesome for anyone who's looking to make their own personal display. For camera operators and DPs, this makes a better alternative to a HUD over an HD monitor. A 5-inch HDMI display, Arduino Micro, and 9DOF motion sensor are housed inside a 3D printed enclosure. The outer hood is printed in PLA and NinjaFlex, fusing two different materials making a rigid frame with a flexible hood. A nifty mounting bracket secures the components to a faceplate with machine screws, making this a pretty solid construction. You can make this into a DIY Oculus Rift by mounting a pair of aspheric lenses to the inner faceplate to split the screen for stereoscopic video. Find out how to build this project by checking out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System. In the next project, we'll tackle making a DIY Oculus Rift headset, so subscribe to catch that upcoming video. What would you do with your own custom virtual reality goggles? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more 3D.
All right. And
Okay.
Pi News. Okay.
Pie.
Just a quick reminder, the Raspberry Pi B Plus is in stock. We still have these in stock. They were going fast. We removed the limit mostly, so you can buy more than one because they
Yeah.
were going a little fast. And we debuted a new feature. Well, we messed with people a little bit. We said, we're gonna have Hack-A-Day because I started this site called Hack-A-Day.
Yeah.
Sorry about that for the folks who read the comments sometimes there. But Hack-A-Day is a site, daily projects And
one hack a day.
One hack a day. And
then
so
you're like-
I was joking. I said, hey, we should do hat a day.
Hat a day.
So what is a Pi hat?
A Pi hat is kind of like a shield. Like if you know an Arduino shield, it's an add-on board that plugs on top of a Raspberry Pi. And it's for the model B+. It's a new thing. And some of them might be backwards compatible. For the most part, it's used with the model B+, and you can plug it on top, and it should auto-configure. It has this ability to, if you design it right, it's possible to have it auto-configure and set up the Raspberry Pi so that you don't have to do any other configuration unlike the command line. So it's kind of like a new way to plug hardware on top of the Pi to connect to the GPIO pins.
Yeah. Okay. So we released 3. We showed exactly what we're doing in advance. Here's one of them.
This is the TFT 2.2-inch TFT Pi.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about this hat.
This one is like a non-touch TFT screen, but it uses the same cord that we have for the Pi TFT. So it's just a little. And what's nice is that it fits so perfectly onto the hat because the hat has to be this certain size. So I was like, well, what kind of electronics can I fit into this hat shape? And turns out that this screen fits quite nicely.
Yeah. This is kind of crazy. We're actually showing people in advance what we're making.
This is
the opposite of what
ultimate GPS hat.
Yeah.
So this hat takes the ultimate GPS that we have in the shop, and there's a little bit of extra space because the GPS isn't that big. So I just put some prototyping area on the side there, and it has the ultimate GPS, an external antenna, a backup battery, and some proto space.
Okay.
So you can have a GPS project.
And then the last hat of
So Far Week.
Of So Far.
So Far Week.
This is like Shark Week, but it's hat week.
This is the Perma Proto Pi hat. So this is kind of like a Perma Proto, but for Raspberry Pi. So I had to, take out some of the pads to make space for the EEPROM. But basically, it's like, it's your prototyping. We'll have multicolored silk screen for this one, I think, and it should be cute and fun.
Okay. And that is?
Hat a day.
Yeah, we're going to call it Hatter Day, but we kind of like Catter Day.
Catter Day, but instead it's hat a day.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't know if I can do one Pi hat per day forever.
Yeah.
So when I eventually run out of hats to do every day, we'll do like maybe Hatter Day.
Okay.
Once a week.
All right. So, code to wires.
Wires.
And
It's new product. Huh?
that'll be good until 11:59 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
You know what time it is? It is new product time, Lady Ada.
All right, we're 5 minutes early into new products.
Well, we're doing fine on
No,
time.
that's good.
Okay, first up, this is a very cool kit. This is from Gawkin. This is one of the neatest new kits from Gawkin. It will write things, and you can use an online site and have it write things, and then you export a PDF, and then you can laser cut your own gears if you wanted, but it also comes with a bunch. And you're probably saying, boy, it'd be great if you had a video that showed it in action.
Yeah.
We do. It is.
Okay, so that's the symbol that it's drawing here. It's actually upside down. But so it's actually drawing in Japanese, which is handy because Japanese you can represent a word in a symbol.
Yeah.
But you can it draws a peace symbol. It also draws like the letter A in Japanese, and also the name Toso, which I think is the name of the person who actually designed it.
Yeah.
So that's his like family symbol, or maybe, I don't know. And but you can customize it. There's a software on their site for like really simple shapes, like a heart or like maybe like a star. Like you can't, like we tried like having a signature, but
Yeah.
it didn't come out very good. It's not good for like precision stuff, but for like, you know, a general large shape,
Yeah.
you can make custom discs.
You could have it initial, like I'm gonna have it do PT, and I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna,
we should
and
do
I- and I'm
PT.
just gonna have it sign things for me from
That's
now on.
good. You don't have to write checks anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say like a heart symbol. I think would be like a
Yeah, heart will
good
work.
something like, you know, like you can. It's okay if it's off a little bit because it is like you build it and it's like self-calibrated. It uses these cams to move the hand in X, Y direction.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a fun project. Like the Gotkin kits are really inventive, and what I like is that, you know, again, there's no microcontrollers. It's all done with these like gears, and it holds it in a pen. It doesn't come with a pen, but you can use we just got a calligraphy pen from like an art store. Works great.
Yeah.
There's a little hand. So it's
Yeah,
a little
it's really nice.
drawing bot.
Okay. Next up, we're on a wire journey, folks. We're
Okay.
gonna do this together.
Let's do
So
this wire journey.
here's the thing.
You're like,
Yeah.
what's wrong?
No, it's fine. I just don't know. You're gonna have to. Do you remember the different types? So this is the
these
product
are,
ID
these are all different,
1949.
These are, I don't remember the product IDs for all of these, but we put in 9 different ones. We actually already have these in 40 strips, but for
Yeah.
some kits and projects, people don't need that many. So it's only like a couple bucks if we, like $2 or $3 if we have them be only 20 wires. And we also got to reshoot the photos. So, and you'll see these in kits and stuff, because often like we only need to include a couple wires. So these are really nicely made, like premium jumper wires, and I'll
Yeah.
show the shortest ones on the overhead.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the best way to do it, because that way, the longer ones are just like, it's like long or like really long. But these are short, so I can go to them one by one. So this one is male type, so it has this little plug, and it plugs into a breadboard very easily, and on the other side it has the same thing. And what I really like about these wires is that they kind of come pre-bundled. They come onto they come in like a strip of ribbon cable that's been cut and terminated. So as you need every wire, you just pull it off, and it just pulls very nicely, like string cheese is kind of the closest thing I can explain it. If you know string cheese, and if not, it's just like ribbon cable. This one is male, and this is 3 inches, and then we have male-female. So this is an extension cord, so it has a socket on one side and then a plug on the other, and then, yeah, they plug in nicely. And what I like about these is that they're 0.1 inches, like perfectly. So you can have these go side by side into a breadboard, and like they all line up, and you can put them in any grid you want, and they work quite nicely. So you can make your own custom wire harnesses as well. And then this one is socket. So yeah, this one has 2 sockets.
Okay.
This is good from going from male header to male header. And then we have 6-inch long, so it's like twice as long. And then we have mega long, 12 inches. Wow, so long. And you get 10 colors, which I also really like. So you get black, brown, yellow, red, orange, green, blue, violet, and gray. And then that's 10. Anyways, it's 10 colors and 2 of each color. So a massive collection of wires.
Okay. Did I put in all of these photos for no good reason? Like, 'cause you just want
No,
to
let's go through them, because
Oh, you
they're
want me to?
beautiful. Yeah,
Okay.
like let's make people look at them.
Okay, well, this is the next one. So we
Ooh,
started with
so
this.
nice.
This is this was product ID 1949,
Yeah.
and this was 1950.
Yeah, this is like the female. Yeah, just go through them. I just
Okay.
like these photos. They're really lovely.
Okay. Yeah, it's like some
So you
type
can
of
see like how the cable is you can just pull it apart. This is a short one.
yeah.
And eventually we might carry these without the plugs on the ends, and so you can like make custom like arrangements. But if you're making a wire harness, like you need like a 2x3 connector, I just use gaff tape or like Kapton tape or heat shrink to connect them. Like I plug them in and then I heat shrink or tape them to
Yeah.
turn it into a custom connector.
All right.
Yeah, so just pull them off as you need them. All right, I think we're wired up. You can keep going with them, and I'll get the next thing ready.
Yeah. It's kind of never ending, folks. Yeah, I put in like 50 photos of the show.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, well, next up.
All right, next up.
This is cool. Okay, so I really like this. This is one of my favorite new things you put in the store.
Okay, this is weird. I saw this, and this is actually used. It was used for like a battery thing. I was like, wait, this is useful for like stuff in general. It's a clip that can it has a little rubber grippy thing, and it can clip onto a circuit board. And there's a pogo pin attached. So it's a little spring clip, and I'll show it on the overhead. And then you can, the whole thing is conductive through the clip, and then you can like crimp on a wire.
A couple photos that'll give you an idea.
So you can see here I'm like connecting on to, because it's like, I hate like if you don't want to solder to it, but you also don't want to hold the probe on, like how do you connect it? Like it's actually really annoying to do. So yeah, this little clip, and it has this little pogo. So this is a springy pin, and it's conductive. And let's say you're like, oh, I really want to like probe that pin over here. You just grip it on, and it's solid, but it won't mar your circuit board, and it just sort of like grips on, and then you can connect to it via this crimp, or you can connect it over here and solder to it if you want. So yeah, this was actually originally designed for connecting to batteries, like with the ones that have like the tabs on them. But I don't know. I think this is more useful for just like probing. This is a great accessory for if you have like a Sele or an oscilloscope, and you want to like probe on an existing circuit board. I don't know. I think this will be really handy. Probe clip.
All right. Next up. More wire.
Yeah. More wire. Sorry.
This is wire.
I know.
Okay, so we got multiple colors.
This is multiple colors of silicone 30 gauge wire. And this is actually something I've been trying to get for a while, because I've used this before. This is like angel hair pasta, but for wire. It's extremely thin. It's 30 gauge, and it's silicone, and it's very flexible as well, because it's silicone, not PVC coated, and it's stranded. So these three things: it's thin, it's stranded, it's silicone, makes it a really excellent way to put wires into costuming or cosplay or wearables, because oftentimes you have to thread something through fabric. This will actually thread through fabric and not bind the fabric so much. It's really easy to like feed through areas, and it doesn't have that stiffness of PVC coated wire where it'll not flex with what you're doing and it'll eventually break. This is a lot more flexible, and also it's high temperature, high voltage in case you ever need that. But yeah, it's just a super wire, and we in strips of 2 meters. Yeah. And I don't know, I really like this stuff. And Becky used this in the sparkle skirt, and that's how we put it. Like I gave her like my beta test 1 meter, and I said, hey, can you like try this out in a wearable? She said it was really, really good, because for power lines, instead of using conductive thread, she could use the silicone coated wire instead, and it would pass much more current. It can easily handle like an amp, because it's wire.
Yeah.
And that alongside with sewn conductive thread made for a much better wearable experience.
I like this because it's good for wearables, but it doesn't end up being like structure. It's still flexible and soft enough.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's not thread that it can short.
Yeah,
so
I mean you can't sew it with a sewing machine. It's too thick. But if you had a thick needle, you could definitely sew it through a large darning needle.
Yeah.
Like one of the large ones that can handle like big wax thread. You might be able to handle it.
All right, and then I think we have a pack
No, this is just we have a meta image.
Oh, okay. I thought we had a pack.
Yeah, no, this is just because we have a landing page.
we went crazy.
We have it in multiple colors too, so it'll match your project.
All right, maybe we should make a pack of this on there.
We will.
All right. The packs. Look at this.
So this is like rainbow. The coach even rainbow, because everything's super rainbowy. This is actually really old. This is like PAD 1600. This is like from a long time ago. I don't know why it took so long to get this in. I know we just got it like 2 days ago from the factory. But it's multicolored heat shrink, and it comes in the 3 most common sizes. We have another pack that has like all the sizes. This is not all the sizes, but it has more colors, so it's kind of like a partner. Has red, yellow, white, green, blue, black. So 6 colors, 2 of each color in 3 sizes. So I don't know, do the math. A lot of stuff. Handy for heat shrinking. I like the nice thing about the colored heat shrink is you can like color code your wires and stuff. So if you're doing a project and you're like all your wires are the same color, you can use this to help color code them.
Okay. Next up.
Next up.
Sort of kind of like a wire, not really.
They
We got
protect
this.
wires.
Yeah, next up,
Next up.
we got this. This is this cloth USB cable.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a hipster USB cable. I don't know. I thought it was cool looking.
Yeah, so these are kind of interesting because they kind of
They're cloth covered.
They're
actually kind of fun. I don't know. I think they're pretty.
they're cloth, and I think if you're gonna travel or if you're gonna keep one of these like a USB cable in your bag at all times, this is kind of nice because it doesn't get as dirty as like plastic USB cables, and it
And it's
reminds me
fun.
of like an iron like an iron cord.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly why these exist, but they do, and I don't know. We thought we'd carry one.
Yeah.
I actually use one all the time because it's like I can remember which one's the micro USB just by looking at it. It's the black cloth one. That way I'm not looking at the end like is it USB or mini USB or micro USB.
Okay, next up.
Mouse. Okay, it's just a mouse, but it's a really nice basic mouse.
Yeah.
We got this because we're going to be putting it into a Raspberry Pi computer pack. So in the store, it's a USB mouse. Works great.
Yeah.
USB, plug it in. It's a mouse. 2 buttons. Has a little mouse wheel. Clicky. Also, it's a very good general purpose mouse.
We're coming up with some packs for Pi, and so if we don't have the mouse, or if we don't have a good mouse, folks are going to get these and going to set them up as little standalone Pi computers, and they're going to be like, I wish I would have got a mouse too.
Yeah.
So
this is nice, not too big. I don't
Yeah.
like big, chunky mices.
Yeah, so we searched for the best one at the best
Yeah,
price,
this
and
one
we
I
got
like.
this. Okay.
I don't know where it is
Next up.
here, but it's a good mouse.
Multimeter.
Oh, right. The Epic multimeter. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have a better multimeter than before. It's a little bit more expensive. It's also really big, but it has a lot of nice
And it's
benefits.
blue.
It's blue.
Yeah.
Adafruit blue. It has resistance, voltage, both AC and DC. Has continuity. It has auto power off, which I really like. That's actually kind of a big plus for me, and a nice on-off button as well. It also has this nice thing where it shows you like the what measurement you're at. You can see it in the photo, and it has capacitive measurement. Not such a bad idea. You can measure capacitors with it. Comes with some probes. Comes with a battery, has a little kickstand. It's your basic multimeter. It's kind of big. I'm going to try to get one that has the same capabilities but isn't as chunky. But yeah, now that I use it, it's actually not so bad. And you're definitely not going to lose it.
Yeah. I don't know. You can get pretty far by having things like at the right, so you can easily read it.
Yeah, no, it's
I was going to
multimeter.
say that I remember we got the little tiny one. We wanted to make a watch
was so
multimeter,
small.
but it was just too small to
It's
use.
small. Yeah, this one is. I mean, it's just a really good basic multimeter. Like for under like $20, this is like as good as you're gonna get. It's not auto ranging. We do have auto ranging. The auto ranging is a little more expensive. Maybe we'll look for a nice auto ranging one.
This is cool.
But
Like
it works.
rubberized grip,
Yeah.
and then if you don't like blue, you can take the rubberized.
And now it's just gray.
Now it's just Adafruit gray instead of Adafruit blue.
Our colors are gray, blue, and black, right?
Yeah.
What are our words? Adafruit is coming. I don't know if we have. Do we have like a house motto?
Better living through engineering. I don't
Okay.
know. So next
right.
up, this is neat. So these all go into one category. So I had them all
Okay.
in one thing. So this is part of Phona.
Phona.
Yeah. So you can now make your own phone.
Yes.
Because we have.
And now you really can.
Because we have all the stuff for
Yes.
phones.
So finally, all the stuff that I ordered quite a while ago for Phona came in. So this is the headset, and it is a smartphone headset. So it has a microphone as well as earbuds, and the microphone's a little dongly thing over here. And it's actually just a nice slim Adafruit black. Adafruit. I'm wearing black. So it goes with all your black clothes. It's good, really good quality. It's HTC OEM. It's actually it's actually quite good quality. It works well with any smartphone, but it also works really good with Phona, which we tested it with. And so if you're using your phone and you want to make phone calls and you want to just kind of plug in the headset, this works very well. You plug it in, and I'll show it on the overhead. Nope, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Your Phona, and then here's the headset, and you see this is a tip ring sleeve, so it's left, right, ground microphone. So there's microphone input. You just plug it in, and voila, you have yourself a cell phone. That's it. Yeah, and then the microphone is here. Nice little black thing. It's got these like nice slim wires. It is a nice headset.
Okay.
I like it.
And I'll kind of answer a question I was typing into the chat.
yeah.
So we are working on a pack with all this stuff, and we're also
Yes.
working on a bundled SIM card thing.
Yes.
And one of my goals is to have like a little Adafruit branded SIM.
We're
because
working on it.
we are the only.
It's a little bit like, they're kind of like, oh, you're going to get like 10,000 and like,
Yeah.
it's a little bit negotiation. Like the headsets, I don't have to buy 10,000. I can buy like 200 of them and get a good price. But with SIM, the T-Mobile has lots of SIM resellers, and so we're working on trying to get bundled SIMs that like so you want to go to the store and you can just activate it online.
Yeah.
This is like, these things are slow. They're not fast like us.
I'll tell you the weird thing, the weird category we're getting into. So we're the only U.S. cell phone maker right now.
Yeah, I saying that.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing to say because it's true. And
Yeah.
So Motorola, they were doing some assembly, but they closed that factory in the U.S. So we make cell phones in the U.S. This is what we do now.
Yeah.
And so we're going to eventually have SIM cards and all this stuff. It is complicated, and we're going through all the right hoops that you have to do this. It was hard to make and sell phonas, but we have them now. So, anyways, next up, more phona stuff.
Okay, phona antenna, yay! We have a little antenna, and don't be fooled by its petite, slim size. This is actually extremely good antenna. I tested a whole bunch of antennas, which I just lost in my bin. I'll find it in a second. Oh, here it is. It's so small, I didn't find it. It's very small, and it's like a PCB sticker antenna, but it has really good reception, as good or better than the pluggy antenna ones. And it has a little UFL, and it just snaps on, and you can swivel it and bend it, and it's a sticker. Can I show it on the overhead?
Yeah.
I'll show it on the overhead just because it's interesting. So it's a sticker, but you don't have to unstick it. It's meant to be used like an enclosure, like a tablet. You'd stick this manufacturing and stick to the enclosure. You don't have to remove the sticker part. It snaps on. That's why the phona we like the most is the UFL phona. And then you can even kind of like bend it around a little bit. I wouldn't put it over the headset, actually. I'd kind of put it over this way, just because otherwise you'll get interference a little bit. But you can have it over here. You can put it over this way. It's flexible and bendy, so it can go into like any kind of enclosure, and it has really, really good reception. So this is kind of the antenna that I think people should use. We'll look at other antennas, but smaller ones didn't have as good reception.
Yeah.
And they weren't even that much smaller. And then big ones are a little bit too chunky. So this is a nice intermediary size.
Okay. Rounding the corner here on products.
Okay.
Good work, Lady. Next up, we got this plate.
This is updated. This is an update of the Raspberry Pi dish, and this is for prototyping. So originally this is what we had. It had these little grips on the side for the Raspberry Pi Model B. We have one. Yeah, you went too fast. Yeah. So it had these little clips. But then like the Model B, we have 2 came out, and then we also had the B+. And so we just did a revision. And the new revision now has mounting holes, so you can actually mount the Pi directly on these little black dots. That's the mounting holes. And then if you have a Raspberry Pi Model B+, there's the 4 mounting holes, so you can mount it directly onto the plate with the ribbon cable as well. So works really great with the cobbler, T-cobbler. We also, because we're not including, the expensive little edgy grips, we actually got to reduce the price too. So yay.
Okay. And then last but not least, this is a clock generator.
It's a clock generator. I didn't make a demo for this because it would be kind of boring, I thought, because I'd have to haul out my oscilloscope and set it up. Boring demo. It's a clock generator, which is actually really useful if you're doing any kind of RF work, or you're clocking a FPGA or microcontroller or processor, and you really want a specific clock rate. So you'd be running around being like, oh, I have to have the right crystal. Maybe I need like 24.5368 for my MP3 chip, and I need like 16 megahertz for my other chip or whatever. It's a pain. So what's nice about this is that it can generate very precise clocks, and arbitrary between about 8 kilohertz and like 160 megahertz. And this chip from Scilabs has a crystal reference crystal. It's a really high precision reference crystal, 25 megahertz. And then what it does is it has a phase lock loop and clock dividers to create 3 independent clocks that can be generated from it. And there's even a software tool that they have to help you calculate exactly the PLL dividers and everything, because you have to multiply and then divide. So and unless you pick a round number, it can be annoying to figure out the precise number you want to get the accurate clock rate. It runs over I2C, so you control it over I2C. We have an Arduino library. It can be ported to anything else. And then, basically, if you're doing RF work and you're like, oh, I really, really need like a good 88.1 megahertz reference, instead of trying to generate that, which is kind of hard if you don't have an arbitrary waveform generator or frequency generator, you just use the handy SI5351 and enter in the numbers you want to generate that specific frequency, and boom, Bob's your uncle. You got that exact frequency you want. So very handy for RF work or precision clocking, or if you have like a motherboard with a bunch of weird frequencies that you need on it, or you want to overclock something. Just control it over your microcontroller and you got clock.
Okay. And with that, Lady Ada, is new products. Good work.
Yay.
You did it.
Yeah. The clock gen is a little bit kind of geeky, but I think if people will find uses for it. Yeah, it's a cool chip. I mean, it generates any frequency. That's nice.
Okay. All right. For all the stuff that you saw in new product section, if you want to get it for 10% off, use the code WIRES.
WIRES.
All the way up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And it is now time for questions. So start typing up your engineering questions for Lady Ada, and she will answer them.
Okay.
One of the questions.
Like a couple minutes.
Yeah, we have time.
I have time.
So, what type of network is the Fona, and what type of SIM card do you need?
The Fona is a 2G GSM, and it's one of the older networks, but it can still do data, voice, and text on at least the T-Mobile, which T-Mobile has a GSM network that's pretty large. So you can just go to like any T-Mobile store and just pick one. I went there and picked one up. I've got a year-long SIM. It's good for 1 year, unlimited talk, text, or whatever, for $100 a year. You might be able to use older AT&T SIMs as well, but AT&T will be shutting down their GSM network in like 4 years or so. So, if you're into longevity, might as well go for T-Mobile. It'll be good for at least like 5-10 years.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, this is a question about the Fona. The framework that was created doesn't have an option to answer calls. Is there a particular reason?
We just haven't added everything yet to. I mean, there's so much capability for the chipset. We haven't added everything. We've just added like the basics that we thought most people would want, like making calls, sending and receiving SMSs, using like the FM radio and stuff. But we are adding more and more stuff.
It's an open source phone.
Yeah.
Pull requests are
we do.
Are loved.
We were focusing on actually just getting stability and the hardware. We had some yield issues that we're working on. But now that we see, and also we wanted to make sure we got like phones out to everybody. Now that we are not having inventory problems anymore, because everyone who wants one is able to get one, we'll probably spend more time on the phone library, and we'll be doing more projects as well.
Okay. Next up, how can I convert OrCAD to EagleCAD or EagleCAD to KiCad?
I think there's a KiCad to EagleCAD converter, but probably not OrCAD.
Yeah. Next up, where can I buy the all-winner A20s? They're unbuyable.
If you want to buy those kinds of chips, it's kind of like the Holtec chips that like we use for the LED backpacks. They're not available on the U.S. market. You can try contacting them, and like you might be able to get samples if you tell them like, oh yeah, I'm working on like a set-top box or something, and like yada yada, like send me like 5 samples. You might be able to get some chips. But the thing is, usually people who are manufacturing stuff with the all-winner 20 are either in China or working with a Chinese contract manufacturer, and so they source directly from all-winner in China. So you might be able to like poke around on like AliExpress or like some other like Chinese seller. You may not get what you ordered, but you might get what you ordered. It's a little bit of a risk. Or if you know someone who works or lives in Shenzhen, they might be able to go to the markets and pick you up a couple. But yeah, it's not something that's going to be stocked or available from DigiKey or Mauser probably ever. It's only going to be sold directly through Allwinner and their distributors, who again are only in Asia.
Okay. Next up, will we sell a phone a starter kit?
We now can, now that we have the
working on it.
antenna and the headset. So we now have everything we need to sell
Working
a
on
starter kit, minus SIM, which we're still working on.
Does the phone can it listen for the button press on the headsets?
You know, that's actually a good question. So according to the data sheet, it can, but I couldn't get it to work. And I'm also not clear if maybe they left that in the data sheet by accident because it's like mentioned once. It's called like AT plus CX button or something. But then if you actually try to do like listen for that, because what it does is it shorts the mic to ground or something. I couldn't get it to work. So I'm going to assume it doesn't. Okay. But if somebody gets it to work, like let me know, because sometimes there's little tricks of like, oh, you have to call this command first to make that command work or something. I don't know.
Okay. Someone pointed out the multimeter is Adafruit Blue. That's a good idea.
It's Adafruit Blue, it's true.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you. That's a good idea. That's what we're going to tell everybody from now on. It's Adafruit Blue, exactly like this right here.
Yeah, usually gray and blue.
This is what we plan.
Yeah.
Inside, yeah.
So is this thing? This is also the Gakken is kind of the same blue.
So next up, someone has 9 to 10 trinkets that monitor some sensors throughout the house. I need these to report back to a central location. What's the best wireless method to do this? XB version 1 way to go, question mark.
You could do XB version 1, and you can set them up as like a mesh network or a point to multi-point network. We did that with the Tweetawatt, so you can see how to do point to multi-point, and you can set it up so it's like automatic, like the trinket doesn't actually do new, or it just like starts up and just sends text. You can also use Bluefruit, but then you'll have like 20 COM ports, so I don't know.
Okay. Let's see, next step. I'm skipping around between the different ones. Does the phone work in other countries like the UK? Yes.
Yep, in fact, it works in France because K-Town went and got a SIM and tried it out, and was able to work on, he's working on it, because we wanted to make sure, like, it works in Europe. So K-Town, which is our European engineer, was able to get it to work just fine. Just go to your shop and get a 2G SIM. I don't know specifically what SIM you'll need. I mean, like if you go there, just say, oh, I have an old 2G GSM phone, and they should get you. There's actually more GSM phones in Europe, England, Asia, and Middle East and Africa than in the US. The US we're moving to LTE, but there's still like many countries in Europe that still only have GSM.
Okay. And then someone asked, are we going to sell our stuff in DigiKey? I can't say anything right now, but we're working on it. Working on it.
It's not something that we can announce, and if we could announce it, we wouldn't be allowed to announce it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
so
reason.
there.
Yeah, so just know that we're working on it. And,
but if we could, we would be working on it.
We like DigiKey. We hang out with DigiKey. DigiKey likes us.
We have Arrow as a distributor right now.
Yep, Arrow.
And
DigiKey
we have
is
MCM.
on its way. MCM, Element 14.
Element 14.
Yeah. Right now we have 700-ish distributors worldwide. It's a lot.
It would be cool if DigiKey carried our stuff, because then you could get like all the resistance capacitors and like little things, as well as your loved Adafruit breakouts and development boards.
We are working on it. Someone is ready to step up from a 40-watt Radio Shack soldering iron. What would you recommend? Well, it's not too pricey, but the Hacko is the best we have in our store.
Yeah, the Hacko FX888, and then because you can change tips, it's a joy.
Yeah. Someone wants to know if we are there any GSM modules for 3G networks?
There are. But they're really expensive and they're really big.
They're big and expensive. You guys,
I have one.
Yeah.
And I even have an LTE one coming, and it's just like it goes from like $40 to $100, like very very fast. So we will eventually have like a 3G and LTE network module. I mean, I guarantee that we will, because eventually like GSM will not be popular or easy to get SIM cards for in the US. But they're much bigger. They're like 4 to 5 times bigger, and they're more expensive, and they use more power. GSM is just like really cheap and really low power and really small and
works
really
everywhere.
simple, and it works everywhere, works worldwide. So that's why we want to start with GSM.
Yep. Okay. More questions.
More.
Yeah.
More.
Yep, everyone recommended the Hacko as well. What processors can you actually buy that are similar to the Allwinner? This is a follow-up.
You can whatever processor is used on the BeagleBone is very similar.
Okay,
Just grab that.
that's a good one. All right, and then next up, in the U.S. for Fona, it's T-Mobile.
We suggest T-Mobile
Yeah.
because T-Mobile has all their SIMs are 2G SIMs, and their 2G network they don't have a sunset plan, which means it's going to be up for like 5 years at least.
Yeah.
Whereas AT&T is planning to shut down their GSM network in about 2 or 3 years. So, T-Mobile, if you have an AT&T SIM and you can get them to provision you a 2G SIM, it might work. But when we just picked one up, it was a 3G SIM, which didn't work. So that's why I suggest using T-Mobile. It's like works out of the box.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
If you don't have T-Mobile, good T-Mobile access, you can call them up, and they'll send you a free micro cell. They have if you just say, "Hey, I'm a subscriber and I live like in this zone, and I want to use T-Mobile, but I don't have at home, like I don't have access." They'll just send you a free one, and you plug it in. It will give you network access in your area.
Okay. So, any plans to revisit virtual reality in Second Life with Oculus Rift?
Now you have to wear this.
Well, no, not.
Okay, virtual Phil.
Yeah, I actually would like to see what Second Life is up to. Once so this big Facebook acquisition of Oculus Rift, doesn't it seem like there's going to be a virtual reality place to go and do things with?
Okay.
And now there's virtual currencies like Bitcoin, and so like everything is set up, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
It would be neat to see that. I'm also interested in what people might do now that there's so many more things like Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook and all these social things online. When like Second Life was first getting started and I think hit its peak, those things weren't as popular, and so I think people are more used to that. So this is these are the Sony Glasstrons. These are from my wearable mistakes category, and I also have this is I worked for this agency, this creative company that did work with Sony. So this was an engineering sample that I got to.
Yeah, I know this is intense engineering.
Yeah, that's where I got to do stuff before it came out. So this was part of Sony's.
They don't mess around when it comes to engineering. This is the most epic.
Yeah,
dev
this
board.
still works with this works with a Raspberry Pi now too. If you
Yeah, because composite in.
Yeah. So anyways.
This is amazing. This is so huge. There's like 18 processors on
Yeah.
here.
Oh, someone had a question. Is there a way to know which of your products are made in USA? If it's an Adafruit product, if it has our logo on it.
Yeah, if it's Adafruit Blue,
Yeah.
made in US.
We were thinking about like going crazy with like the Made in USA thing, but like then we could go really crazy and say, oh, made in Soho, New York, and all that. So if it's Adafruit with a Adafruit logo on it, it's USA.
Anything we manufacture in house.
Yeah, we have 2 pick and places and reflow oven and a stenciler and all that. We make it here. So it's now time to give away something, lady.
Yay!
What are the rules?
The rules are if you've won a fabulous prize already, you cannot enter again. Only one winner per lifetime. The prize today is going to be. How about a multimeter?
You want to give away the AdaBot Blue multimeter?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of useful.
Yay! Okay. All right.
You get a multimeter, very handy. And if you don't need one, give it to a friend.
Okay. So this one, the chats are pretty synced up. So whoever I see this in either YouTube or Ustream, I'm going to give this away.
Okay.
What is the name of that Tyrannosaurus Rex, the largest one?
Yeah.
It was part of our Time Travel Tuesday segment. If you go to the blog and go to Time Travel Tuesday, you'll see that.
What's the name?
What's the name of the dinosaur?
It's a dinosaur named.
Yeah. It's named after the paleontologist who found it.
Okay.
She found it.
Okay.
And Rich T 1984 or no 984. Sorry. You won.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Sue is the correct answer.
Sue is the correct answer.
How could you forget?
Yeah.
Let's look at that dinosaur again. Arr!
There you go. So that's Sue the dinosaur, discovered by Sue Hendrickson in 1990. One of the largest ones ever discovered. Congratulations, Rich T 984. So Ustream was it's from the Ustream chat. It was very close though. The folks in the YouTube chat, they're all getting it and they got it very close.
Sorry, you're so close.
Very close.
I think they were synced. It was just like they.
That's the way it is.
This is one person,
and I alternate sometimes. I look around, but whoever I see first when I have them up. Okay, that's the show tonight, Lady Ada. That's it.
All right.
Rich T, don't forget to email support@adafruit.com. You get a, what did you give away?
Multimeter.
A multimeter with Adabot Blue on it.
Yes.
You can tell it's 9:01 because I'm starting to run out of brain capacity. All right, so we'll see everybody next week. Thank you, everyone who works for Adafruit, who's here doing work. Thank you, everyone who's in the chat, who's also part of the Adafruit family, helping out and participating. Thank you, everyone who's on the show and tell. And thank you, everyone who watches and is here each week. We're here
Because of you.
Because of you. And so thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week. Here's a picture of MOSFET. We're going to go see him now. And here is your moment of Zener. Bye, everybody.